The best thing about owning my own business has been the impact I can make and I can control on helping people. And the reason I got into Action Coach was all about making a difference, and I feel by owning my own business that I get that chance. Number one is I would be kinder to myself, knowing that as I went down the path of Action Coach, it's literally a whole new career. It's a new process you're learning. It's a new avenue. And I underestimated the learning curve, and I underestimated the amount of time that it would take for me to get up and running. I literally thought it would be 2 weeks. And you just have to be more forgiving and devote your time to learning, and you have to trust the system of Action Coach because they do know what they're talking about. That's why they have been so successful. Well, when I started, I had a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old girl, and I was in corporate America running around working a lot of hours, and I decided when I started my own business, what I would do is work harder as I started the company, because I knew it would take a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of learning to get the momentum. What happened is after my 5th year, I was able to spend a little bit more time with my children. Now, they were 4 and 1, and then that would make them 9 and 6. And at that moment, it allowed me to choose what I wanted to do and how I wanted to spend my time so I could pick up my kids from school and still have a very full-time, successful business. So owning my own business has given me the freedom to have family around, and my husband and I get to spend more time together. The best thing about being an action coach, and really if you look at that, it's 2 phrases. One's an action coach and one is a coach. I think that if you look at action coach, the number one thing is that it gave us a community. It gave us a team. It gave us help. And it allowed us to know where to go for the answers, and allowed us the training in order to understand how to apply. Now, the best thing of being a coach is the ability to change lives, help people get where they didn't think they would go. I'm so glad that I became an action coach because of the difference I can make. And I love the fact that I was able to grow my business myself on my own and be successful. And success to me means that I make an income, a very nice income. I make more money than I ever have. I get to choose the hours I work. I get to choose the clients I get to work with. And I get to have a great community and team. So I'm really happy that I chose Action Coach. What I like best about my master licensees, and I don't even like to say master licensees because it's Craig and Annette. I love just saying their names. They are the ones that I literally trusted from the very beginning with my direction. I knew I wanted to be a coach. I don't think I knew how. And they have been there every step of the way, in times of sorrow, in times of success, in celebration, and in challenges. If I ever have a need, I know I can call them up. I was 15 minutes away from a team day and just couldn't think of an icebreaker, and I called up Craig, and he came up with what ended up being the best idea for the whole team day. That's what a master licensee like Craig and Annette bring. They bring application, and they bring trust, and they bring knowledge. So it has been some time since I've been through the discovery process. I mean, it's been 10 years since I've done the discovery process. So if I'm talking to someone who's just now going through that, the fear is unbelievable. To this day, it is the most fearful thing I've ever done in my life. I was so anxious, I couldn't sleep at night. The way I handled it is, number one, I read a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffries. The second thing I did is I actually increased my pace of discovery. I didn't want it to be delayed because all I was doing is delaying this awful feeling of indecision. And I knew I had to make a decision. So if I have to give any advice to somebody going through a discovery process, it's do it as if it's your job, get through it and make a decision, and then be excited about that decision. Well, I've never, as a coach, I have been doing this 10 years, I've never come up with clients saying, oh, I want to go with another coaching firm. There is not necessarily, I believe, any competition in this industry, but what makes Action Coach so good is the years of experience. And I believe that the marketing material and the material for coaching and the team alignments and all the systems they have in place, they work, and I use them to this day, 10 years later. I'm still using Action Coach material. I think it's the material that sets them apart, and then it's the community that brings them together. I have many clients, a lot of clients. I've been very successful. I've worked really hard to get those clients, and so a day in the life for me right now is I like to start early, and so I do my coaching sessions in the morning, all the way up until about 3 o'clock. I choose not to coach after 3. it's not my best moments, and I get too tired. And so then I'll do some marketing. I do marketing every day. You have to, even though I have a pretty full calendar, you need to continually market. And that could be, I could be doing speaking engagements. I could be making cold calls. And yes, I do make cold calls. I make 100 cold calls a week and still have a full schedule. It's not that much time. And when I get all of that done, I get to celebrate with my clients. And guess what? We help each other to grow. My best client result, it's hard to say my best because I've had honestly so many that I'd like to group it as into one area that I've had the best impact on, and that's in going into a company and switching its culture. When we can do that, we do that by changing the leadership, and when I say that, I mean their mindset. Then we look at their numbers and figure out we have to coach by the numbers. And then we look at all their marketing plans. We change the mindset and change the culture for performance. And we see an impact, not just in the business, but in the employees. That's our biggest expertise. When I go into a company now, I ask a lot about the culture because everything else feeds into it. So my best client breakthrough, you know what? I'm going to use the most recent thing. I get to coach someone, and I coach on the phone a lot because a lot of my clients are not in the city in which I coach. And one of the things that happened is I got to talk to his other employees, and I got to get some feedback and perception of his leadership style and what was holding the company from going to the next level. Now, this is a very successful company already. And one of the breakthroughs was that the business owner understood that what was happening was about him, and that it was within his power to change. And that when he got that, when he understood that all I need to do is make a few changes here and here and here, and then I will see the company change, that was my biggest breakthrough. And in fact, after the coaching session, which was exactly 35 minutes, he said, I'm done. I need to go take a walk because I need to go ahead and change everything. And I thank you so much because my life is going to be different because of this process I'm going through. So from my perspective, what it takes to be successful, I just did a speech on this earlier this week. And I said, I get to talk to other coaches coming in, and I am a trainer, so I get to train some of them as well. And I think the one thing that I see that allows coaches to fail and allows coaches to succeed is persistence. People want to, or coaches, it's a generational thing, they want success immediately. And the thing is, it's going to take time, and you can't quit. And the reason people go, how did you get so successful? I said, well, I've been doing this 10 years. I had to allow myself the time to make it successful. I had to put in the hours, I had to put in the work, and I had to be open to learning, and I had to persevere through it. And that's what makes you successful.